to bring in Bill Nye, the science guy, to get your reaction. So, Bill, 2.6 miles wide. As Tom's saying, I mean, just incredibly rare in a lot of ways. Can you just give some comparison on how huge that is relative to a typical tornado and what would have possibly made it so wide?
Well, what would make it so wide is more heat energy in the atmosphere. But just fundamentally, if you think of a tornado as being a half-mile or 3/4 of a mile wide, this thing's about 4 times that, maybe a little over 4 times that as wide. So as a first approximation, if it's 4 times as wide and you're looking at the same area, it would be 16 times as much energy. Now, the problem is probably somewhat more complicated than that, but it's on the order of 2 times 10, 20 times as much energy in a tornado. And you guys, I appreciate it. Everybody's saying this is a very rare event. You may never see this again in your lifetime. Well, if this is the 3rd tornado to go through very nearly this track in the last, say, since 1999, the last 14, 15 years, maybe it's the beginning of something that's troublesome.
Okay,
so this is really something for everybody to consider.
A frightening trend. All right, now, Tom, what about this? I mean, obviously, this tornado, the one we're talking about, went across the plains. So 2.6 miles of damage across the plains. But what if it had gone through the center of a major city, Oklahoma City, like the Moore tornado did? Or what would happen if a storm that wide went through a major population center?
The size of this, Aaron, has spurred a lot of weather folks around the country to consider that very idea. And think about what Bill just said about the size of the whole vortex here working. And look at the comparison. If we were to move on from El Reno and put that same storm over Washington, D.C., look at this. This would be coming all the way across here. If you put it over the center here, it would get the Capitol, the Lincoln Monument, the White House, and virtually all of downtown in one big stroke.
Wow.
If you moved it up here to New York City, where you are, Aaron, look at this. This is the island of Manhattan right here. You twist that storm and you put it over that island, it could basically cover the entire island. That's how big this thing is. And we are fortunate in a way as a nation that generally these form in less populated areas. But of course, if you live there, it's a terrible, terrible thing. And the fatalities are awful. This is a measure of this storm.